It's time for the go home show for TLC, our final stop before WrestleMania, where we can take a leapfrog over Raw if it goes well for us, but we need a brilliant setup. Then there's only one way to find out whether we can. Let's run the intro. Hello everybody, my name is Bragster and welcome back to Tag Team Turmoil, where today we are on the go home show for TLC. We're catching up in fans, we're catching up in money, but they did pull away a little bit, but that's because we had to spend quite a bit. And I mean, Triple H wants us to rest our champions. I don't know whether we can do that with the roster that we've got at the moment. This is our roster, but as you can see, Xavier Woods is injured for 2 weeks. I'm going to see how important that is, to be honest. If needs be, we can do the injury rehab. I think we probably will do the injury rehab for Xavier Woods. We do have that in our bank if we need it, if we need him for the pay-per-view. But if we feel like we can blow off something else, if there is something else to blow off, then we'll definitely maybe take that chance and maybe go for that instead. But I do feel like we will use it in the end. But Shelton Benjamin will be leaving us at the end of this episode, so it's Shelton Benjamin's goodbye party is basically this episode at this point. But let's just put the show, shall we? Right, so before I show you the card, we're going to start talking about power cards. Now, one power card I do want to get is the Veto Random Superstar, because we are not completing our Commissioner Gold. It just didn't work with the show that we were trying to put on, and apparently our Tag Team Champions count, which is half of our roster. So that's just not going to happen. So we are going to buy the Veto Random Superstar card, and we are going to spend that card as well. We are going to spend it. Confirm Random Superstar and Raw will not be able to compete. That is absolutely perfect. We have vetoed one of their stars for the pay-per-view. What we are also going to do is we are going to double cost them for that pay-per-view. That is the plan. And finally, yes, we are using 3 power cards today. We're going to use a health spa on Natalya, because Kingston's going to recover 12 stamina from just not being there. If Natalya does that, she's still at risk. So we are going to put it on Natalya. Let's get her 230, and then at least then she will be absolutely safe from injury, and she won't get one. She's guaranteed now not to get injured at the pay-per-view, which is really useful on our road to WrestleMania. As for the show logistics, we are doing the same as usual, the biggest one we can do without having to make a purchase, as again, I want to have as much money as possible for this pay-per-view, and then we might be able to buy a few upgrades ready for the pay-per-view. But that does mean we're in the Thunderdome, Gorilla Crew, Advanced Lights, and Viral Campaign. For the actual show, it's quite a weird one. We've got Eric versus Chad Gable in the opening contest in an Extreme Rules match, with Randy Orton running in on Eric to improve that rivalry. Chad Gable's been on an absolute tear at the moment. So, I mean, good for him. Maybe he can continue that tear in this match against Eric, who has been feeling hard done by as of late. Then we will have a charity promo to raise our fans up in the air, with Billy Kay at the head of that. Then we've got Otis, who wanted a match, versus Fabian Eichler. It's the only matchup that worked, and quite frankly, it actually works in our favour, because we can't use Xavier Woods anyway, so we can't progress that rivalry. And Otis wanted a match. Fabian Eichler's a specialist. It's a match that will actually reasonably work. What I might do is I might put it as a tables match just to up it just that tiny little bit, because neither of these will be at the pay-per-view. Xavier Woods I've not used the card on, so Xavier Woods will not be at the pay-per-view. Then we've got Robert Roode calling out Kofi Kingston to hopefully raise that rivalry to a level 3. If it doesn't raise it to a level 3, I might have a mental breakdown. So let's just hope that doesn't happen, because quite frankly, none of us want to see that. Then we've got Peyton Royce versus Naomi in a bit of a mismatch match. I'm not going to lie. I might just put a tables match on that as well. We're just going to splash the cash a little bit here just to boost all of these ratings a little bit. With Shayna Baszler running in on Naomi to hopefully bump that rivalry up a bit more too. Then we got a self-promo by Sasha Banks, which will hopefully make their match better at the pay-per-view. Her match with Natalya at the pay-per-view. Hopefully that a little bit better as their popularities will be higher. And the main event, possibly the match of the pay-per-view coming up. Ivar versus Riddle will be facing off just before the pay-per-view. Both on 74 popularity, both got a lot of stamina. They are both absolutely brilliant at tables matches. So they will be doing a tables match at the pay-per-view. So why not give you the TLC match that you've been robbed of on SmackDown? That's exactly what we're going to do. It's a level 4 rivalry. That's got the potential for a 5-star. So we've got the potential for a 5-star main event, but can the rest of the card lift up to the hype? Here we go, the opener, Eric versus Chad Gable with a run-in by Randy Orton in an Extreme Rules match. Chad Gable gets another victory in a 3-star match, and the rivalry grows. Come on, get in. It's a 3-star match. To be honest, I wasn't expecting much more, and I think the others will be along the same lines. It's just banking on that main event basically being a 5-star main event. As Billie Kay does a brilliant charity promo. Of course she does. She's a brilliant talker on the mic. So that is 5,000 fans coming into our show, and hopefully will get us another victory over Raw. Then we got Otis versus Fabian Aichner in a tables match, and Otis gets the victory in his first match back in a while in a 2.5-star match. It's exactly what I wanted to see. Bog standard match, not awful, not great, does the job. Then we've got Robert Roode calling out Kofi Kingston, which rises it to a 4-star, I was going to say, a level 4 rivalry. I will get there eventually with my voice. Level 4 rivalry. That's got the potential to be a great match at the pay-per-view as well. We've got the 2 title matches in Kofi Kingston, Robert Roode, and Sasha Banks and Natalya, which have potential to be great. And then the main event here has the potential to be absolutely brilliant at the pay-per-view as well. We're just testing out on the Go Home show because, not gonna lie, we ran out of people to use. So Peyton Royce has versus Natalya versus Naomi. Speak! Why can't I speak today? Peyton Royce gets the victory in a 2-star match. It doesn't grow the rivalry, but who cares? Let's just get through this before I absolutely lose my mind. Then we got a self-promo by Sasha Banks, which ups her popularity by 6. That is unbelievable by Sasha Banks. She's in the 70s now. I think she's on like 74. She's in a great way. That match, again, it's great potential again. Natalya versus Sasha Banks has been one we've been building for a while, and it seems to be building really, really well. And the main event, Ivar versus Riddle, TLC. Let's see who comes away with the victory. Who comes away with the momentum? Ivar gets the momentum going into the pay-per-view. It's a 4.5-star main event. Absolutely lovely stuff. Beat that Raw. They probably will, to be honest. They'll probably beat it because it's Raw, isn't it? It's Raw. The opener for Raw is Cameron Grimes and Roderick Strong versus R-Truth and John Cena. They've not been facing off at all, so that's definitely not a rivalry. It's a 3-star match, though. They do manage to pull off a very good match. Brock Lesnar with a charity promo gives them 5,000 extra fans, which is really annoying. They've got so many injuries left, right, and centre here. Apollo Crews versus Theory. Please have one of them get injured. Austin Theory gets the victory in a 3-star match, but it's only a level 2 rivalry. They can't blow it off at the pay-per-view. Then we got Damian Priest versus Cameron Grimes, which does grow to a level 3 rivalry despite the poor promo. Then we've got Omos versus Pete Dunne in a normal singles match. Who comes away with the victory? It's Peter Dunne with a 2.5-star match. We've done well here. I truly believe we've done well. Then we got Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch versus Indy Hartwell and Lacey Evans. Again, some of these girls are struggling. You know, same as the guys. The guys have been struggling. It seems the same on the female side as well. Please, can one of them get injured? Lacey Evans and Indy Hartwell get the victory. It's a 2-star. It's a 2-star. It's not a 2-star. It's not a 2-star. It's a level 2 rivalry. It's a level 2. I am really not doing okay. Oh my days. It was an Extreme Rules match. Let's just get to the card, for goodness sake. As you can see, Raw beat us in the mid card, but when it came to that main event, we managed to pip them at the post. It's going to be close, and I do feel like we're going to have the pay-per-view on them. If you look at their rivalries, they've got a level 2, level 3, and a level 2. They've got nothing blowing off at the pay-per-view. We've not only got stuff blowing off at this pay-per-view, we've got stuff ready for next pay-per-view already. We've got a couple of things in place. So please, please give us another victory on the road to TLC. Well, we don't manage to get as many fans as last week. We only get 44,000 fans, and we only get 85,000 dollary dues for the show. It does tip us over 400,000 dollary dues going into the pay-per-view. But the question is, especially with no show notes, how in the world did Raw do? Oh, Raw did manage to pip us at the post with a 53,000 viewership change, and they only went up by 74,000 dollary dues, which does get them to that 450,000 dollary due mark going into the pay-per-view. So they're in a stronger position than we are, but in terms of rivalries, we've got the upper hand on them. And Cameron Grimes and Roderick Strong are apparently an incredible tag team. Not a tag team I would be expecting to see. But as it comes to the fans, we are about 50,000 behind going into the pay-per-view, which is makeable going into this pay-per-view. And in terms of money, we are in the exact same spot. And remember, I vetoed one of their wrestlers, and I've double costed their pay-per-view. So hopefully that can not only give us the upper hand this time around, it can give us the upper hand going into WrestleMania, as their money might not be on the same level that we currently have it at. It's going to be a tense affair, this pay-per-view. Well, our first email is from Robert Roode, which is saying that his contract is up at the end of the week. He would do it for 100k. I'm not going to lie, Robert Roode. You came in for the pay-per-view and the pay-per-view alone. You have been an absolute amazing service to us, but we can get wrestlers cheaper than you, so you will be off after this pay-per-view, but you have been an absolute service to us, Robert Roode. Absolute service. Eric is getting really annoyed. Look, this has got to stop. I'm seriously unhappy with this never-ending string of losses. That is not my problem. I'm starting to think you don't care about my needs very much here. I would like to point out, Eric, you're the one losing matches. I have got absolutely nothing to do with the fact that you're losing matches. If you are losing matches, that is not my fault. If I trip over on the side of the street, that is not your fault. That is my fault for tripping over on the side of the street, right? Just because you are losing matches doesn't mean that that is my fault, okay? I'm starting to work out that we are not on the same page here. We are really not on the same page, and I nearly knocked off my headphones in anger. Oh, here we go. Omos has come. Bear in mind, he's got 76 popularity. That is huge amount of popularity. Hi, Sonia. Listen, I'm sick of working for Pierce at Raw. I'm listening. I'm more than happy to ditch my contract and come and work at SmackDown, and I'll do it at a discount. 108k, and I'll start with SmackDown starting next week. What do you say? Oh boy, it's time, people. We've just rejected Robert Roode for the possibility of, if he wins the title, I've just realized, if he wins the title, that is awful. Let's hope Robert Roode doesn't win the title. I'm literally assuming Robert Roode doesn't win the title. So let's fingers crossed he doesn't win the title. But we rejected Robert Roode's contract extension, and here comes Omos. 76 popularity, much more than a lot of our wrestlers are on. A really good star rating. He's a giant, which is brilliant for a cruiser. Cruiser who is Kofi Kingston, which means that we would actually be able to do whatever rivalries we wanted to do with the likes of Riddle, Ivar, and people like that who have raised their popularity to new heights. Omos, you are ours. That's right, we have nicked someone from the opposition. Omos will be starting at SmackDown the week after TLC, which is the very next episode. And apparently we don't want to put Kofi Kingston in the match, but we so goddamn will. Let's be honest here. We definitely will put Kofi Kingston in the match. But we're getting closer to the end, people. We are edging ever so closer to the end. We have vetoed stars. We have double costed their pay-per-view. We have rested all of our wrestlers, so none of them will get injured no matter what match we put them in. Probably a TLC match. And we managed to steal Omos off of Adam Pearce. We are on the road to victory. I can feel it. And it all starts with the next episode and the next pay-per-view in TLC. That brings an end to this episode. Make sure to hit that like button. Do comment anything down below and your reactions to us stealing Omos. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And I shall see all of you in the next video. See ya! Omos, 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 Omos. All their hard work for nothing, hey?